Hello, my name's David Seaman, and this is the Three Lions Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Three Lions Podcast. My name is Russell Osborne. This is an independent England football supporters podcast. I hope it finds you well. I know I said the podcast would be taking a break. It will. But after the final, after the third place game, I started thinking about a subject. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, just do it. Just get it down. So before I come on to that, what can I say? Congratulations to Spain. Eventual winners after 5.5 weeks, only conceding once in that time. What can I say? Beat Argentina. Well done to them. Also, third place for us in the tournament following that crazy game in Miami. A 6-4 win over France. What can you say about that? Other than, well, crazy game. It was a bit of a testimonial, like it was a charity game. Dare I say it, like Soccer Aid or something like that. 4-0 at half time. No one would have seen that final score coming. Saka, hat-trick, and Mbappe becoming the all-time World Cup record goal scorer, 22 goals to his name. This was before Messi took to the pitch in the final the following day. It was entertaining. It was free-flowing football. It was great on the eye. Had that fixture have been the final, it would have been spoken about in years, decades to come. But I think it's safe to say it wouldn't have played out like that if it was the final. So it will go down as our most successful tournament since 1966. I don't think there are necessarily cracks to be papered over, but in years to come we may look at it as this tournament just being a little fortuitous to get that far. But on the other hand, it's tournament football, knockout football. It's just about getting through in any way you can, and anything can happen, and it did. We rode our luck at times. At the end of the day, well done, lads. We just need to go the next step. And this is what this episode is about. So, following on from this story about England's DNA, where there was a press conference, Thomas Tuchel was speaking after the Argentina defeat. He said that the plan wasn't to drop deeper and that, quote, it's maybe not in our DNA to control the game and the ball. Which seems to me a little bit of a passing of the buck. But clearly there is something that is stopping us from getting over the line. And I think I've found out what it is. Bizarrely, I think it's quite simple. We need to win a trophy. I know. Bear with me. Now the World Cup is over and the domestic season is going to begin shortly. Very soon will come the UEFA Nations League. It's in its 5th tournament phase after starting shortly after the 2018 Russian World Cup. I think we really need to be taking this seriously. We need to be winning this as a pathway to winning the World Cup in 2030. A lot of people still dismiss the Nations League as just being glorified friendlies. This notion needs to stop. If you've never understood it, you need to now. You need to start getting on board with the Nations League. There is a phrase, success breeds success, and it starts now. I've mentioned its format before, but if you're not familiar, let me explain. It's a competition for European nations of various levels to play against each other in a league format, resulting in either winning the trophy at the end of it, or you could gain promotion to the next league up, or be relegated after failing to sustain your level. Now also, UEFA have also filtered it in for qualification for the 2028 European Championships. And it was in fact how Sweden were given a lifeline and qualified for the recent World Cup. This was after they won their 2024 Nations League group and all that came with that. Of course, this after Sweden finished bottom of their World Cup qualifying campaign. I know, it sounds daft, but if it wasn't for the Nations League, then Sweden wouldn't have been at the World Cup. As a competition, it's not going anywhere soon. So as I said, it is worth getting on board with. I've generally been a fan of the tournament. Sure that the first one took a little bit to get my head around, but when we made it to the finals, and you see a piece of silverware in front of you that could be won, you've got to aim to win it. Plus, those finals resulted in a week in Portugal. Who's to argue with that? My only gripe with it now, in its fifth phase, is that it does seem quite stretched out. The group games coming around every 2 years. Then once the teams qualify for the quarterfinals, then the semi-finals and or the playoffs, they have to wait another 3, 4, 6 months to actually play the games. But I understand that's a factor of the FIFA calendar. Or in the case of the League C and D playoffs, they have to wait almost 18 months to play those games. Honestly, check it out. So that's my little gripe with it. It is quite prolonged. But thankfully, England aren't involved in that League C and D playoff scenario. As I mentioned, that first incarnation saw us make the finals. 2020-21, during the COVID period, that saw us finish third in a group behind Belgium and Denmark, but we were ahead of Iceland, so Iceland were relegated, and that was it for that tournament. Next one, in 2022-23, this was where we came bottom of the group, behind Italy, Hungary and Germany, and we ended up being relegated to League B in 2022. Not a joyous time, it has to be said, but people were saying, well, it's just the Nations League, it doesn't really matter. But it does. It does, really. It seems so long ago now, but after going unbeaten in 2024 under Lee Carsley, we were promoted back to League A, and this is where we are now. So back on the 12th of February this year, the draw took place, and we found out who we were playing. Now, across League A, there are 4 divisions of 4 teams. Now, over the years, the format, as I say, has slightly changed. For the first 3 competitions, the top 4 nations that won their group headed to the finals the following summer. Places 2 and 3 were safe, and 4th was relegated. Now, last time around, 1st and 2nd place from each group, they headed to a quarter-final to be played March time. Then the winners of each quarter-final, they headed to that finals, semi-finals and final in June of next year. Like I say, it does feel a little prolonging the competition, but because of the fixture dates, it is what it is. So to confirm, for those who haven't been paying attention at the back, we were drawn with the Czech Republic, world champions Spain and Croatia in League A3. Here are the dates for those that need them. And if we ever needed a real test straight off the bat, first up is Spain at Wembley on the 26th of September. How good would it be to be the first team to defeat them? That's followed by the Czech Republic away on the 29th in Prague. We're then away to Croatia on the 3rd of October, then back home to the Czech Republic on the 6th at Wembley. Now, you may think those are all close together, and you'd be right. It's an international window that has been condensed in a way in the fact that the domestic leagues will only be disrupted twice rather than 3 times during the autumn. The last 2 games take place in November when we host Croatia on the 12th and finish up with Spain away on the 15th. Now, a few things you may have missed. Tickets for Czech Republic at Wembley have already gone on sale. Croatia away will once again be behind closed doors. And at the moment, the venue for Spain away hasn't been confirmed. In an ideal world, we would finish top of that group. But as I say, second place will also qualify for those quarterfinals. And they take place between the 25th and the 30th of March next year, 2027. And the winners of those quarterfinals head towards the finals, as that we know. They take place between the 7th to the 15th of June next year. So if you want to start booking your works holiday, there's your ones to look at. So my theory is we need to go all out. We need to win the Nations League, just as Portugal, France and Spain have. Portugal, actually, they won the first one and they are also the current holders. This then starts to give us a feeling of going through a campaign and picking up a trophy at the end of it, step by step. It may feel like the equivalent of the League Cup, but a year later, of course, we have the European Championships, which could be looked upon as being the FA Cup, that next step on from the League Cup. The Euros, as we know, is being held here in the UK. Well, England, Scotland, Wales and the Republic of Ireland. The draw for it takes place in Belfast on Sunday the 6th of December. Are we ever going to have a better chance? We'll have a previous trophy win in the bag, then a home championships win. 2 out of 2. There'll then be another Nations League campaign in 2028-29. Perhaps we could retain that. But the main thing is, we are now going into a World Cup in 2030 high on confidence with 2 trophies to our name. We're now winning the equivalent of the Premier League or the Champions League. We've gone from the League Cup, the FA Cup to the Champions League. This is the path that Spain have taken. Nations League wins, 2022-23 season. Of course they beat us in the Euros 2024 in Germany. Now here we are, 2026, the World Cup, they're winners. We need to be following their model. Hopefully in Spain, Portugal and Morocco, the climate might be more suited to us. Hopefully there won't be as much of the off-field noise that we've seen surrounding this tournament. Although I have a feeling Gianni Infantino will still be at the helm. What sort of a state he's brought the game into by then, well, you can only imagine. I suspect that Thomas Tuchel will remain in charge following the World Cup. And regardless of what you may think of him, winning the Nations League will give him credit in the bank. A first proper trophy since '66. It can't be sniffed at. As I say, if it propels us towards a home Euros victory and a World Cup win, I may well forgive him for throwing away that Argentina game in the way he did. And on the player front, there will be players in this squad that don't make it to the next World Cup. Jordan Henderson, John Stones, Dan Burn, Ollie Watkins, Ivan Toney. Both Jordan Pickford and Harry Kane will be 36. If they look after themselves, they could be there. Just look at the likes of Ronaldo and Messi. Jude Bellingham will be in his prime. Saka will be 28. Hopefully Kobbie Mainoo will be a regular, Nico O'Reilly too. But then we have the potential quality coming through. We've already seen Liverpool's Rio Hungamoa. Arsenal have Max Dowman coming through. The future is still bright. If these players can get their hands on a Nations League trophy, then that weight of the shirt just lifts slightly and the pathway opens up. What do you reckon? Let me know. Join me on the socials. Just search Three Lions Podcast on the likes of Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, or drop me an email, threelionspodcast@gmail.com. And before I leave you, a couple of things. Can I just comment on the World Cup final? It's not a game that will live long in the memory. People will remember Argentina's disgraceful scenes at the end. Sore losers. Then there was Donald Trump, booed as he walked out alongside Gianni Infantino in the MetLife Stadium. And he then found himself, once again, centre of the stage, well, just to one side, as Rodri lifted the trophy, just as he did last year in the Club World Cup. I've never seen Infantino run so fast, panicking, as Trump was standing there smiling, clapping at the side. He knew what he was doing. Then the halftime show. I've got to be honest, I went and watered my plants. Gabby Logan, though, asked Wayne Rooney his thoughts on it, and he seemed to sum it all up.
I'll be honest, man, was when it finished. I like a lot of the matches, but I thought it was crap.
So miserable.
That's it, obviously.
Tell you what else you get on the BBC, honest reviews.
Let's hope we never have to endure a halftime show like that again. Now, some sad news. On the day of recording and releasing this episode, it was announced that Kevin Keegan had passed away. Back in January, his family revealed that he was suffering from cancer. Then in June, he himself announced that he was at stage 4 of the disease. And then today, Monday, the 20th of July, the day after the World Cup final, he passed away, aged 75. Clearly a legend in the English and world game. He was born on the 14th of February 1951, Valentine's Day. He began his career at Scunthorpe United before moving on to Liverpool, then across to Germany to play for Hamburg, then returning to England to play for Southampton, then finishing his career with his boyhood club, Newcastle United. Wherever he went, a great player, loved by the fans. And then he would go into management, starting where he finished his career at Newcastle United. And he would also go along to manage Fulham and Manchester City. But from an England point of view, he made his debut away to Wales in 1972 in a 1-0 victory under Alf Ramsey. Now, he would go on to win 63 caps, scoring on 21 occasions. But sadly, his career coincided with a time when England were generally poor on the field. He missed out on both the 1974 and 1978 World Cups, and indeed the 1976 Euros. So the world never really got to see him on the grandest of scales. Then, when the Spain World Cup of 1982 came around, he was suffering from injury and only got a substitute appearance in the last game against the hosts as we crashed out. That was his last cap. It wasn't to be the last time we saw him representing England, though, as in 1999 he took over the managerial reins from Glenn Hoddle. He oversaw 18 games, taking us to the European Championships of 2000. Overall, as manager, he won 7, drew 7 and lost 4. That including his last game, the last at the old Wembley Stadium. Under the gloomy skies, we lost to Germany and he would resign shortly after that. He was a man that will be remembered for a variety of reasons. On the whole, all good. And who will ever forget his on-camera outburst come rant as Newcastle United chased down Manchester United in the Premier League. And let's not forget, he also had a pop career, releasing a single, Head Over Heels in Love, in 1979. But in this moment, I'd like to pass on my condolences to Kevin Keegan's family and his friends. Thank you as always for tuning in. It's always appreciated. So until the next time, take care of yourselves. Cheers.